So I'd like to talk to you about your work so far.
What's wrong with my work?
It's crap.
What? It's a beautiful expression of the human experience.
Is that fancy boy talk for crap? Look, let's go over your work, starting with Romeo and Juliet. I am not going to give you double credit for writing a summary of the play and then putting it at the beginning and calling it a prologue.
That was to help the audience understand what they're about to see.
If you were worried about people understanding, then why don't you use real words instead of making words up? For example, what does affy mean?
Why, sir, that means to trust.
And how do you expect people to know that?
Context clues?
Well, obviously that didn't work for you. Now, let's look at one of your comedies. How about this Midsummer one? With Romeo and Juliet, you had two star-crossed lovers. With Midsummer, you just added a second pair of star-crossed lovers, which, I must admit, had some very nice potential.
If you liked it, then why did I get a 53 on it?
Having potential and living up to it are two very different things.
Was there anything at all you liked?
More people survived in this one.
That's it?
Look, I know this is college and we're supposed to be accepting of other people's ideas, but does every other character have to be a fairy?
They add a mystical quality.
Maybe comedies just aren't your strong suit. Let's get back to your tragedies. How about this Macbeth? I noticed right off that you had a trio of witches. Doesn't that seem a bit excessive?
What do you mean excessive? People love the supernatural, and if people like one witch, then surely they would enjoy two witches. And then I thought, if they enjoyed two witches, then they would certainly love three witches.
I know one person who didn't.
You wound me, sir.
It doesn't help that Lady Macbeth reminds me of my ex-wife.
You mean you've committed murder? Okay, I'll rewrite it so there's just one witch.
Good. Now that Macbeth's out of the way...
You mean now that Macbeth's dead?
No, now that I don't ever have to talk about it again. Now let's look at the next waste of my time.
You mean The Tempest?
Isn't that what I said?
No.
Well, look. In Midsummer, Party A wants to get married, but Party B won't let them. Then there's some pansy fairy magic crap, and at the end everybody gets married to everybody else. In The Tempest, Party A wants to get married. You see where this is going, but Party B won't let them. And then guess what happens next?
What?
Are you serious? Pansy fairy magic crap! And at the end, everybody gets married to everybody else.
I thought it was different.
Oh, sure. You added a boat and a weird manfish gopher. I mean, exactly what is Caliban supposed to be anyway?
You mean you never heard of the legendary manfish gopher?
You were one of those children who ate glue in kindergarten, weren't you?
Were there no redeeming qualities?
It ended. Speaking of endings, let's look at your last effort, Hamlet, which it seems you wrote on an empty stomach.
What terrible things do you have to say about Hamlet?
Can't handle it, eh? Okay, I'll start with something positive.
Really?
Yes, I loved what you did with the ending. Everybody got their comeuppance.
Is that all?
Yes? Were you expecting more?
You know what? I've had enough of this. You think you can just tear down my every idea and creative choice because you couldn't come up with ideas of your own? I know what's going on here. You couldn't make it as a writer, so now you just try and crush anyone who looks like they might have potential. Well, I won't stand for this anymore. I'm going to prove you my work is worthwhile. You'll see, one day everyone will know the name Shakespeare.
And this is a perfect example of why the government is pulling the funding from the arts.
Excuse me, Mr. Kern. Your next
God damn it,
appointment
Nick.
is here.
Stop being a bitch. Put your hand down.
Sorry.
Just say it from off camera.
Okay, Mark. Excuse me, Mr. Kern. I see that your last student has left. Your next appointment is here and ready to go.
Thanks. And Megan, how many times have I told you? Just call me Kevin.